You know, the biggest lie in Kenya is meteorological department. We miss Ngwata Francis. The guy who would pick Radi from Kericho, bring Radi to Nairobi, remove it from Nairobi, return it to Kisumu. Yes. Beautiful days of TV. And somehow when you were told it to rain, walai ilikuwa inanyesha. But the current government is lying as meteorological department. So them and meteorology, you don't take them serious. So, Kiage, it has not rained. It has drizzled. It's just cold.
No,
it has not rained.
No, it's raining.
I don't know where you are. We are in Nairobi.
Did it rain over the other side?
No, maybe the other side. Oh, in Western region, that's fine. That place it rains. That one it rains, but it's not El Nino. But Nairobi it hasn't rained. So our meteorological department, they should do a tender to buy new items. They should buy new items because I think they are using old school stuff that tell them wrong information.
Last week, fired. Anyway, here's the thing then, Bagalo, just on the same spirit, I want to start with you this morning. Today, in the morning as we wake up, there's an issue that is trending across the country. And I want to take you back to the sentiments of one President William RUTO when he was campaigning. It happened at a time just right here within Kariobangi, where residents woke up and then in the wee hours of the night, their houses were demolished, spent days and nights outside without houses. Good. Just a year after that particular incident, well, today, as we're speaking about the impending El Nino, whether it's going to come or not, there are Tana River residents who are essentially Athi River, well, going to find themselves without housing as we start our conversation this morning, because this weekend, all the way from Saturday up to today, their houses have been demolished. Now, let me essentially take you back to the words of one President, Dr. William RUTO. He said, it's never going to be like that in Kenya. It's going to be orderly. It's going to be targeted settlement before any other Kenyan in the country loses their property. And he said, this is our country. We build for ourselves, that we have to find amicable ways of solving our problems. Good. If you look at all the cries that are coming from those residents, you know what, Ragalo? Something that is very peculiar in all those clips, all of them are mentioning President William RUTO, because that promise was specific. Let's begin from there. What changed, Ragalo?
When I was on TV here on Monday last week, I said, the Kikuus are hurting. And I will still repeat, they are hurting. The lady that was holding her hands up here, she was not saying any other tribe other than Kikuyu. The lady that was taking a selfie video showing us a crumbled house looking like we are in Gaza, she was not speaking in Kalenjin, she was speaking in Kikuyu.
That's true.
She was saying the way she went to Nakuru to vote for William RUTO. Of course, I call them Togege, as they are called, because they were lied to, but they bought the lie. Somebody was telling them the truth, their king. Their king was telling them, guys, I know this man. Please don't go that route. And I want to repeat it here. I'd rather be told something by Amlevi, because people who are drunk, they talk the truth, than a pastor on the pulpit. Sometimes I need to be having my reasoning when I listen to my pastor on the pulpit. So now they are seeing fire. I'm here, Eric Ragalo, rejoicing, because I was there telling them. They refuse to hear.
Ragalo, you can't rejoice.
I'm rejoicing.
Why? Ragalo, you can't rejoice.
I am.
You cannot be empathetic.
I am.
If you can't be sympathetic, you're not empathetic.
I am. Reason is,
yes.
Sindano ya kujidunga haina uchungu. They were told, but they didn't listen. So who are they crying to?
The same man who promised.
They are crying to Raila. They keep on saying, Baba menyamaza, si Baba aseme kitu. Kwani they have forgotten that Baba ni Kimodo. They have forgotten that Kimodo now can talk really. Kiage. The guy kwani today has become circumcised. I thought they cannot vote an uncircumcised person. They have forgotten kwani today. It is true. My question is, and I still ask myself, so now Baba can say something that they can listen to. They said they cannot vote somebody who wears a short here to the knee. Na akala kwa mguu. What haven't I heard? And I told you I was born, brought up in Kikuyu land, Ruiru, Kiambu County. I hear when they say these things. They hurt my soul, but I keep moving. But when they are hurt, they want the same Baba too. If Baba tells us to go for maandamano, they are the same people who come to TV to say what? Baba anaharibu biashara yetu. Sasa vitu zenu zinaharibiwa. Collect yourself and demonstrate. We are not going to help you people.
There's no point of empathy from
There is no point of empathy on my submission. Let me tell you.
Yes.
There's a guy called Alvan, whose mother's house was brought down.
Ulejama government.
Yeah, the government. Yeah. The great TikToker. Yeah. He was a person abusing everybody. When their own singer, one of the best singers in Kikuyu Nation, I'm forgetting his name, the guy who sang for Uhuru the song, I've forgotten the song. Wembe Nule Ule, that guy. When he said now we are going to support, the mountain is going to support Raila, what did he say? Umekuja na mlima yako, leta mlima yako. Right? Yesterday he was saying kujeni munishike. How do I feel sympathy for such a guy? He told this guy know the singer, the brown singer in Kikuyu Nation. Alimwambia kuja na mlima yako, unasema mlima gani na support baba? Kuja na mlima yako umelete. Eh? Now the same guy yes. So now the same guy is now castigating Ruto. So the way he was happy, he should continue being happy. You know, this world is very funny. Stay on the road of justice. So that justice will also follow you. When you become on the road of injustice, then all of a sudden you want people to feel justice for you when you're in trouble. I will not. Eric Ragalo says, kuleni ujeuri yenu.
Ragalo,
peaneni shamba ya Portland. Hata kama inanunuliwa na Eric Ragalo 15 billion, nitainunua muondoke kwa mashamba za watu. Kwendeni kwenye mnaenda. That is what you tell them. Because if the country cannot reason together, then when they're hurting, they want you to help them.
I want to ask you the same question that Bruno asked you just before we went on air. Are you speaking like that because you have no property in Athi? Because your sentiments would have been totally different had you had a property at that land.
You know I'm saying like that? Because the guys shown on those clips, I'm not saying that. Yeah. Everyone is saying the way they voted this government.
Yes.
So they voted impunity, thinking impunity will help them. Are you understanding? They voted impunity, thinking now impunity is going to help them. Now the justice, not now impunity, justice has gotten to them because this is court.
Yes.
Has gotten to them. Now they are saying Ruto, Ruto, Ruto. Ruto amefanya nini? Si muende kotini museme koti imekosea. Mumeambiwa muhame mkakata ukaidi. What do you expect? Mutabomolewa. So now you are calling Ruto's name.
Yes.
When you are told to vote justice, you've been voted injustice. Now you want justice to come your way. Justice which one?
Mr. Mungai, let's get into that particular subject as well. But I think this morning...
For the first time I'm supporting Ruto. Waondoe Ruto kwa hiyo.
Guys, you should not be laughing.
Waondoe Ruto kwa hiyo.
They remove Ruto out of that equation.
Waondoe Ruto kwa hiyo. They voted injustice. It is justice
Mr.
on
Mungai,
them.
Here's one I want you to come from. Please, as you respond to this particular question, the only reference that I want you to make to is him saying that will never happen in this country, Mr. Mungai. He said it, that it will never happen in his government. It will never happen. He told Kenyans, look, should you find yourself in that situation, it'll never happen in this country. But it is happening. Mr. Mungai, could you start from there?
First, I want to commiserate with the people of Mavoko.
Ragalo, you know you should have started like that.
Nah.
Don't worry about him. You know, he claims that voting for Ruto was voting for injustice. And I think there is no fairer justice as the justice that was meted on the ballot in August. But that is neither here nor there. I want to first commiserate with the people of Maboko because it is actually very painful when you take all your savings, you go invest in a piece of property, and you know ordinarily you would imagine that that is your retirement home. If you look at the buildings that were demolished, you know, they are palatial buildings. These are people who, in their opinion, they had invested in a retirement home. And therefore, to wake up one morning and you have to start all over again is not easy. But the challenge with this, I find, Simba, is that I don't know how to define justice. Because if you look at the court records, because I can see Wavinya Ndeti and Kalonzo Musyoka and the rest are playing politics. But what is the reality? The reality is there is a society called Kenya.
Yes.
That claims that land is theirs from the 80s. But court records show and indicate that actually the titles were forged. Now, they were supposed to submit their paperwork to the court, I think last year or someplace in May this year, which they did not. Now, the challenge of litigating court matters in public rallies is that you miss the opportunity to air yourself in a competent court of law. Because what Wavinya Ndeti and Kalonzo are doing, they are inciting the public politically, but they are not assisting them legally.
Yes.
Because you see, you cannot canvass a matter that is in a court of law out there in politics. So what has happened is that the court made itself clear that the land belonged to the East Africa Portland Cement. And therefore, the court gave orders to make sure that these people, you know, they move away from the property. But be it as it may, the politicians told the people, no, you can't move. You know, this land belongs to you. And so what has the government done? The government has moved in to evict them. But here is my challenge on the question you asked, that the president, when he was, you know, when they were campaigning, said that this would never happen again.
Yes.
And this was against the background of what happened in Ruai. Again, it was raining, and what happened in Kariobangi.
Yes.
So it was against a backdrop of those two. But here is my concern. My concern is the people who sold these people the land, the politicians, because it is politicians who are involved in the subdivision of this land that was sold to innocent Kenyans. The most unfortunate bit is that they are walking scot-free. And no one is mentioning them in political rallies. No one is mentioning them in, you know, they have been left to walk scot-free, and yet these people bought land for value. In fact, I've seen several legal scholars say that, you know, a class suit action or something, the lawyers, Ragalo would know, he tried to be a lawyer. like Brian Mwenda. But the thing is, those people should sue not only the government, but also the people, because they are criminal. There are people who sold this land knowingly that this land belonged to someone else and sold this land to innocent Kenyans.
Yes.
But I also think moving forward, you know, who owns the East Africa Portland Cement? You know, sometimes we have also to go back and be humane and say, okay, we have won the court case, but who are the actual owners of East African Portland Cement?
It's a publicly listed company.
It's a public listed company.
It's the government property.
It's a government. Those people that live there are not Kenyans. I think Wavinya Ndeti and Kalonzo Musyoka need to direct their people and need to find also, as much as they have failed their people in terms of a legal solution, they need to find a political solution that does not involve running to the place once demolitions have occurred. Sit down and say, you know, at the end of the day, can we even as a county government purchase this land on behalf of our people?
That's it. But I like the way you're avoiding the question that I asked you. That one man who promised Kenyans that it's never going to happen in this country, hasn't spoken, hasn't stopped it, Mr. Mungai. The demolition went on for 2 days. It was a trending issue in this country that got a lot of people speaking. How do you get him into this conversation?
When you become president,
yes,
you swear to protect the Constitution, okay, and the rule of law. Now, what does the rule of law say? That there is an existing court. And I'm not saying what happened in Mavoko is right. I'm just saying there is an onus on the president
yes,
to uphold the rule of law in the country. Now, there is a court ruling. There is a court ruling that has said those people should be evicted. Now, in fact, if you ask me, this has nothing to do, for the first time I agree with Ragalo, this has nothing to do with the president.
Mungai, it's got everything to do with the president.
No, it has nothing to do with him.
But this is
he is not,
yes.
Remember, let me just take you a bit back. If one of the things that is celebrated in this country was when the court ruled that the president should return Muteshi's land.
Does it?
Okay? Now, the president argued that he had bought that land for value, not knowing that he had been conned. But nevertheless, because the court gave an order, the president not only returned the land, but he was ordered to pay to compensate Muteshi for that particular part of land.
Pretty much.
Now,
yes.
for
Yes.
trespassing,
Yes.
he was ordered to pay, which he did pay. But despite the fact that he felt aggrieved, he followed the law.
Yes.
And what I am saying is that also in this case, the law has to be followed.
Pretty much.
Now, I am not saying that following the law necessarily means that these people have, you know, they are still aggrieved, but the truth is it has nothing to do with the president. It's a court order.
Yes.
The people should have, you know, the representatives of the people in that case should have argued their case correctly in terms of the rule. You know, they were given an opportunity. And I can see from the papers, there are even documents that they did not submit. The court is finding that some of the title deeds were fake. So tell me, how is the president involved when it is very clear that people broke the law? Tell me, where is the president involved?
Take a minute to respond to this. How different is this case from what happened at Ruai and Kariobangi?
I'll tell you the difference. The difference is, in Ruai, it was political. Because
political.
it was, no, let me explain. No,
yes.
This is not political.
Doesn't.
There's an existing court order.
Yes.
The court sitting in Machakos has issued the orders. Now, what happened in Ruai is that it was purported that the deputy president then had grabbed land belonging to the water company.
Yes.
And therefore, the people who had settled there had been settled by William Ruto. Now, if you recall correctly, during that time, the president and the deputy did not see eye to eye. So the people in Ruai were evicted to show, you know, like the way you want to spite somebody. That is why that happened in Ruai. Now, in Kariobangi, it's only that we don't say it loud.
Yes.
It's only that sometimes, for purposes of community cohesion, we tend to let things, you know, finish off at face value. But we all know the people are being removed because someone else wanted to put some systems there to benefit a piece of land some few kilometers down the line. It is common knowledge.
I've got to leave it there.
It is common knowledge, and everyone knows that.
You're going to come back to that. Bruno, officially then, I also want you to weigh in on this issue and start from that promise from the president.
For the first time
Yes, yes.
Eric has done something very important. He has said, leave the president alone. I am free. This is one of the best moments and the best moments I've ever had. And it is very true because the other time we had a conversation, he said the president must intervene, must do this and that. But you see, there is an existing court order.
Yes.
And I was today looking at a letter that was addressed to the Chief Executive Officer, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
Yes.
Mr. Halake Wako, by the then governor of Machakos, Dr. Alfred Mutua.
Yes.
He said request for urgent investigation into mega corruption involving the East African Portland Cement Company and limited land at Mavoko, Machakos County.
Yes.
And this letter was CC'd to Hon Fred Matiang'i, Mr. Joseph K. Kinyua, who was the chief of staff, Mr. Muhoro Ndegwa, who was, I think, was in charge of DCI or something of the sort, or NIS.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then Dr. Muhammad A. Swazuri, that was in charge, the Commissioner for Lands, okay?
Yes.
And then Mr. Willie Lay, the Chairman Board of Directors, East African Portland Cement, complaining about the subdivision of land and continued growth of something like a town, okay? People were putting up structures that had not been approved by the county government. My sympathies goes to the people of Mavoko. But the question is, before you do a building, a residential building that is 1 story plus and above, you need approvals from the county government, right? And the works officers and the rest of the people. If these buildings do not have those records, first then they are not buildings. Because I will tell you for free today, that the thing may look very nice. You may have done a very good building. Without the necessary and prerequisite approvals, maybe you're on the road. And then you want the president to intervene because he said there shall be no eviction in the country. Now you want the president to intervene and you're continuing to do a building in an area which you are not sure, without the correct approvals and the required approvals, and then you want to blame the president. That is number one. Number two, this letter that was done by Dr. Alfred Mutua is an evidence that there was a problem with that land and people continued to build on it. All right? So by the time the court order came, somebody had completed his building and said it's a residential place, residential house. Now, when the law is applied to the people, remember, the law is a double-edged sword. It cuts both sides, whether it's government or a citizen.
Does it?
All right? If I am in government land, the government can sue me and evict me from that government land. Because I may have voted for the government, but I am in government land, either as a parastatal or a public land or whatever. Okay? And if the government builds on my land, I can go to the court and evict the government from my land. So why do you now want to bring the president to issues that had been addressed by the court? Do you really want the president to interfere with the process of delivery of justice?
Yes. The question being,
yes.
Pagal, I'm going to come to you shortly.
Yes.
The question being that indeed, even in the other areas where it was making that declaration,
yes,
there were court processes that were involved. Ronald, let's be clear here. He said
yes,
that even when court orders have been issued in this country,
yes,
we are going to move on in an orderly manner, yes, that nobody is going to sleep outside, that we have to find solutions to our issues amicably. That's not what's happening, Ronald.
If today,
yes,
you build on government on a road reserve,
yes,
what do you expect? You expect this president to now come and say, you know, you've built, we need to solve this amicably? Let me tell you, that statement, for me, the president was rightfully to put that statement across. However, it is the prerequisite of each and every citizen to avoid a situation where you want to use the comments of the president to break the law. Yes. Because building on government land is breaking the law. So people cannot, even myself right now, and other communities that are there, when we go and build in a public area, yes, and say the president said we are not going to be evicted, it means we are catalyzing illegality. We are catalyzing people to do the wrong thing because the president said we are going to solve it amicably. If there is something that has been decided by the courts of law, yes, if you are dissatisfied, then you can appeal the judgment. However, yes, you have to stick. Yes. The law must be followed in terms of eviction.
That the underlining issue there is, yes, not that we are not going to solve it, that we are not going to evict you, yes, but we are going to make sure that that case is solved and you're, yes, going to be evicted.
But the case has been determined.
Is that right?
The case has been determined.
But no, hold on. It's the eviction process that we're talking about here.
Let me probably say on that, yes, because,
yes,
if the notice was not given, well and good, then that was wrong. But the end game is you have to be evicted. Let me also go to what Eric said, Gagalo said, that why would they want to bring Raila Odinga to that issue again? Why would they want Raila Odinga to assist them? Raila Odinga has never assisted somebody who is being evicted. Let me tell you today, the people of Narok, the Kipsigis community in Mau were evicted by the same government, the Nesumkate government. And Raila Odinga was at the forefront saying that people must be evicted. How do you expect the same person to come and assist you to be to remain in a government land?
He was also a minister of roads.
He was a minister of roads. Yes, and along the road, on Mombasa Road, Kitusuru Road. What do you expect? How does he, I mean, to what end does this lie? Because Gagalo likes saying this is a government of lies, and to where? To what extent does the lies of relying on Raila Odinga end? Yes? I want him to answer that. The people of Mau were evicted. How would you want Raila Odinga to assist the people of Mavoko?
Okay,
and the people of Mavoko are not Kikuyus alone. They are Kambas. Right?
Let me answer that. The question has a good answer. Raila evicted people from Mau. The Kalenjin decided to evict him. The biggest liar was the former governor of Bomet. He lied to his people, telling them their problem is Raila.
Yes.
He's the one removing them from their land, And Raila said this: if I have to go home and pick a mandazi, the word was mandazi, because of this, a water tower that will kill even beyond Kenya, that will make Sudan and Ethiopia and Egypt suffer, then I'd rather go home. And actually,
he's actually
right.
He's home.
Right.
He's home.
That's what Ragalo you are
let me finish.
He's home.
So let me finish.
Yeah.
And the Kalenjin, and I'm saying Kalenjin, basically did that. Because the liars, as they are, went to talk to people on back of the street saying, this guy is inhumane. Okay? So now, the same people in the government, was there no presidential announcement the other day that people should leave the forest?
Was it?
Are people not leaving the forest? Hold your horse, my brother. Standard page 4. Are people not leaving the forest? They're leaving the forest. So what was the difference between Raila removing people in the forest and people leaving the forest now? So the issue is, when Raila was removing people in the forest, Raila was bad. And they sacrificed Raila because Raila was removing them from the forest. But now who is removing them from the forest is Raila. Raila demolished road reserves, to clear the road for people to move. Are we not happy with the road in Thika Road? Are we not happy with the bypass running all the way in Runda when there was a house that was directly blocking the road in Runda? Are we not happy? Remember, Raila didn't demolish these things so that they are sold. Right now, Portland is being sold. Who is buying it? How much is the money? How is the tendering process? Is it above board? We will not know, because Parliament has given away one of their powers.
Does it?
One of the functions of Parliament is to do what? To watch, to become a watchman. Sorry?
Oversight.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, to watch. I'm using the right words so that Mkenya asikie. To become a watchman over our assets, because we gave them power under Article 1. We remove power to ourselves and give it to them so that they can assist us to see what we cannot see, because we cannot all be in Parliament. So we employed them to do that for us. But they gave away their powers to oversight. Now we will never know how much was used to sell Telcom and how Telcom left, because it's already gone. We will never know Portland. We will never know Chemelil. Chemelil is going. We will never know Nzoia. Nzoia is on. I saw the paper, the list is there. Yeah. You will never know, because the powers, they sold themselves. Anyway, that is the right word. They sold their hearts. So the powers we gave them, they gave it away. So what will they oversight? Who will they question?
Yes.
Now, coming to Mau, I've talked about Mau, I've talked about bypass. Now, let me go back to the big issue. We have the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation document. We have the Ndungu report, the land report. Okay?
Yes.
We should not be talking about nini. We know people even having land, property on land, and they are running big things on the properties of government. We've seen properties here and there. You pass a road like this, you see a property. Then you're like, how did it come here? You will go like this, you see a property. Hiya, see, this is Wilson. You will go like this, you see JKI. Hiya, see this. I'll give you an example. Along the JKI, as the plane comes down, under there was shanty houses that were there. Sio Kimau. When they were being demolished. They were demolished because they were becoming an accident zone should a plane go down. You understand? So they were actually on the path of the aeroplane.
Yes.
They were removed. So I don't see a problem with Portland. I don't see. Because one, that's our property. Being encroached. Just the way Mau was encroached. So people are being removed on the encroached land. But now I take back the word. You see, Raila did not say, when we are removing you, we'll give you a settlement. But here, it was said, we will remove you, give you somewhere to sit, to sleep, a kamabati shack house, kidogo, as we remove you humanely. That was after.
That's the process.
That was after Kariobangi demolition.
That's it.
And that pronouncement was done in Nairobi. Sisi hatutafanya kazi namna hiyo. We remember this thing. So now what happened? The Ruai land is still government land. It was being encroached. It was Ruai sewer system. It was being encroached. So now it is safe for us and for the generations to come. Thank you, Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, the way Uhuru was, people are removed in Kariobangi, the sewer line was passing. Is it not assisting Kenyans? When the sewer line was going through Kariobangi, if it is a house in Uhuru farm in Ruiru, how is Ruiru and Ruai? How far? Why would the sewer line come back to Kariobangi? I mean, tutumiange akili saa ingine. Sewer line inatoka Ruiru, iende Kariobangi, iende hivi, badala ipite nyuma tu, ingie Ruai. Kwani distance ni gani? Kwani hata ukiangalia hesabu ya distance, surely you would want to use more money like that. Ndugu yangu anatuenjoyingi sana. So now the other question is, now Truth, Justice and Land Commission.
Yes.
Tuambiane ukweli. Watu warudishe mashamba basi ya serikali. Watu warudishe mashamba ya serikali. Juu hata hii Nairobi tunazionanga. Gorofa ilianguka hapa T-Mall. Tukisema hiyo ni land ya serikali. Tulifurahia sana. Mbona hiyo hatukuwa na press conference tukipiga nduru? Tulifurahia sana because imerudi. Na hiyo land iko Bea mpaka saa hii. Another gorofa ilianguka pale junction ya Enterprise Road na I'm forgetting the name. The exchange. I'm forgetting that Indian guy who was making a lot of noise.
Yes.
Watu walifurahia sana because at the end of the day, the exchange got finished nicely because it was blocking the road construction.
Oh, the mall at...
the mall at Otering, isn't
Yes.
it? That's the one.
I've forgotten the name.
Yes.
You see, the exchange.
Yes.
So if something is done well, it will help all of us. The encroachment of that land was wrong. First thing, we have to be honest, it was wrong. Now the wrong of RUTO is here. You told them, of course you've done a wrong, but mutatoka pole pole. The question is, why demolish like that? Then you should have, because we are taking your word. You know, let me tell you.
Yes.
A father to the children. Ukipita vizuri nitakununulia baiskeli.
Gotta buy the bike.
You're gonna buy the bike. The guy will make sure you buy the bike. So umeambia watu, mukikosea, and this is it. If there are people claiming land upon which another citizen has built a home, because we are claiming as Kenya, that's our land, okay? We will work with both the landowners, Portland Cement, and those who have developed our mama mboga. The property, so that we can create a win-win settlement. So win-win settlement was to do like this. Tidin. That's how win-win happens. So to me, honesty is vital. You told me when I make a question, utanchapa kiboko moja, wacha kunipiga 10. wamekosea. Hata wao walikuwa wanasema ndio koti imekubali tumekosea, but hatukuwa tutolewe hivi. They are not saying they will not move out. Actually, I have a clip here in Kikuyu asking, oh, that's how you are removing us. You should have told them, now we are giving you 21 days. The way Raila did, Raila was telling them on Thika Road, anza kujibomolea kabla nifike. Si watu walijibomolea. The only person alibomolewa ni Nakumat. Mbona hiku juja watu wakubomolea, watu walijibomolea. The next guy mwenye alibomolewa ni wa Ruai. Because Runda.
Yes.
Because alikataa kuondoa nyumba yake. But essentially watu walikuwa wanajibomolea, mahali laini imepika unajibomolea. This guy is from Thika Road, he knows what I'm saying. So watu wasiweke ati Raila alikuja akabomoa no, he told them tunataka kujenga, bomoeni tunakuja. The only person mwenye alikataa kubomoa ndiye alibomolewa.
That's it. Rona, I'll be coming back to you. Mungai, let's end this.
The question is, nitauliza Mungai ukimuulizanga. Hao watu walikataa kubomoa ndio muabomole because unajua yeye ni UDA. Niulize walikataa. And I'm asking Brad, waliambiwa now that mwe lose case. Sasa mubomoe kutoka saa hii mpaka 21 days ikisha mmebomoa na mkaondoka. Walikataa. You know, the case ilianguka on Thursday. My friend. Wewe unasema siku mbili, siku tatu. On Friday ikaanza kubomolewa because you can't go to any court. You cannot put an injunction. Friday, Saturday, Sunday unaenda koti gani? So they wanted to make sure by Monday kubomolewa. And then by 1 week 15 billion ya Portland imeingia na shamba imeenda.
Here's the reality, Mr. Mungai. And I want you to just make it clear for any other person who's watching you this morning. We do know very well that Portland is one of those state farms that have been earmarked for privatization. That you would like to think that this is a conversation that the president knows very well, Mr. Mungai. He's the one who's been talking about privatizing these farms. That particular bill, where the National House now will not debate the privatization proceedings for state farms in this country again, again puts another question on it, that today, that particular motion of the evictions at Portland Cement might not make it to the National House because then it touches on a bill that the government, that the parliament essentially do not have powers over. The process is what we are questioning because the process is what the president said is going to be the best Kenyans have ever seen. It is the process. We are not questioning the eventuality. It is the process.
I'll say this. First is to reiterate that, you know, it's when you have children and they are watching your house being brought down, it's the most inhumane thing that can happen to you as a parent, as a father. You know, we cannot run away from the fact that, you know, people have really suffered not only financially but emotionally as a result of the demolitions.
Yes.
But this is my divergent opinion. On May 4th, Kariobangi demolitions happened. But prior to May 4, on May 3rd, the High Court had issued an injunction stopping the government from demolishing those houses. That was on May 3rd. But the previous government went ahead and ignored court orders and went ahead to evict those people in the most inhumane manner. Likewise as happened in Ruai. Now, in this particular instance, let us give some history to it, okay? Because you know sometimes the challenge with politicians. But you wait. The challenge.
You said they don't love history. How comes today?
The challenge. No, I love history. No, Ragalo, do not sidetrack me. I can see you. No, Ragalo, do not sidetrack me.
Your president said they don't eat history. Deputy said they don't eat history.
Let us give it some bit of history. You remember one time there were community interventions that were ongoing. And when Moses Kuria was the minister, was the CS for Miti, there was a lot of back and forth between him and Wavinya Ndeti. And at one time, Moses Kuria told them, you know, this is public land. This land belongs to Portland Cement, and you guys need to move, okay? And that is, we are talking about many months down the line, okay? Now, Wavinya Ndeti, and I remember that meeting, Sonko came in late in the evening. They told the people, you stay put. Do not come out of this place. You see now how the politicians fix their people. But unbeknownst to them or with their knowledge, there was a court case that was going on, which the Lookuptv were actually involved in the proceeding court cases, okay? Now, the court has issued a ruling against the people who have established themselves in those particular pieces of land. So the question now that begs is this: what should happen to these people? Because the court has ordered that they be evicted. And this is why I was saying my divergent opinion with politicians vis-a-vis the law. I have seen the member of parliament, Patrick, has issued some political pronouncements. And you know, this is what happens. When the demolitions are ongoing, you know, there are phone calls all over, please come. And what the politicians get is the glory, because the politicians don't want to do the hard work, Simba.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The politicians will not go to court with you. Why? Because it's a lengthy process and they will not get publicity for it. But you know, when you are demolishing and Kalonzo Musyoka is there and Wavinya Ndeti is there and the MP is there is political mileage, because then you're seen to be fighting for your people. But where were these politicians when the court cases were going on? Where were they? They were nowhere to be seen. But because now court orders are being carried out, all of a sudden the politicians are very good. All of a sudden the politicians are a defender of their own people. It's madness. It's a lot of nonsense. In fact, these people should be holding Governor Wavinya Ndeti to account, should be holding Kalonzo Musyoka to account on why this process has ended up, because this is not a new tussle. These matters have been in court for a very long time. Where were the politicians? Why did the politicians not fund excellent lawyers who could defend the case of these residents? Why are politicians coming in later in the game to collect glory, to collect glamour in places where they had not sowed? You know, we must be realistic and tell Kenyans the truth that the law, as they say, is an ass. And the sheria ni kama musumeno, inakata kuwili. Sometimes it favors you, sometimes it doesn't favor you. Mm-hmm. And therefore, to end my submission is to say that forget the politicians.
Yes.
The people of Mavoko have an opportunity to appeal. Let the politicians, let them now challenge the politicians to get good lawyers, including Kalonzo Musyoka, who is senior counsel. We saw, what is the name of this lady who almost became the deputy president? Mother Karua. We saw Mother Karua in Nakuru court offering submissions on behalf of Maina Jenga. Kalonzo Musyoka is a senior counsel. Why can't we see him in court arguing the appeal for the residents of Mavoko?
Well, clear on this topic. The process. Could you make it
the process?
Yeah, it's the process, Rono. The process.
First thing that you need to appreciate is that one, the president is not a micromanager. And in Mavoko, we have a governor.
He's been
We
blamed.
have a member of county assembly, we have a governor,
Yes.
we have a member of parliament, we have a senator.
Yes.
The president is not the only leader in this country. Wavinya Ndeti is a governor. I mean, the whole of this noise after the result, why are you asking yourself, why this noise? Why was it not there before?
Yes.
Before when this case was in court. Now, when the court made pronouncement, it is not the president who gives notices for eviction, for Christ's sake. It is not written CC the president or copied to the president, is it? The notice for eviction, the court order, the court pronouncement is what will be given to the president.
Yes.
That the court determined that this land belongs to East African Portland 7, which is part of which is government. Therefore, people were asked to move. But you don't expect the president to do notices for eviction. So, and this eviction happened when the president is not even in the country. So there's already a problem from that leadership, and I will not be wrong to say, even the politicians in Mavoko may have instigated the same issue so that they get the political mileage to say our people are being oppressed. And the president say this or that, said you will be handled humanely. There are so many spaces for possibility.
Yes.
But remember, the president does not give notices for eviction. However, the handling of the issue was wrong, was not as the president endeavored. But we cannot every time be saying the president to come and cook for you in your house. Sometimes you have a father, you have your own people in the house, you have leaders in your own house. So the issues about Mavoko and Machakos or Vinya Ndeti should be the one who's answerable, because all those issues that were happening, she was aware.
Yes.
All those court cases that were happening, she was aware. All these people who now want to align and be with these people say, you know, this government is not a good government because the president say this. Why are they recognizing the efforts of the president now? Yet they are the same people who are saying we don't
Yes.
recognize the president.
Yes.
Why do you need him now? Why do you need what he said? I mean, does not make sense.
Well, no, it's still the president.
Yes?
It's still the president, regardless.
Still the president, fine.
Yes.
But why didn't they handle the issue
yes.
before they call on the president? And
yes.
the president
Yes.
does not do notices for eviction.
Bagalo, just one sec. Yes, I just want to get this from Rono. Rono, there's something that you've not made clear in your submission. That Ragalo agrees with you that, well, the eventualities that those people have to move. And even the president is not saying that they will not move, he's saying that they have to move. You know,
Yes.
we have to respect the rule of law in this country, and that's what the president has kept on saying from time to time. But then, what the president said that in whatever circumstance, and I beg you to go listen to his submission again when he was campaigning. He was saying that regardless of what the courts have said, regardless of the situation on the ground, that when it comes to moving these people, we can't have a situation like we had it campaigning. Right now, a situation like that, it has to be a main process. Do you believe that
Now,
process?
let me ask you,
Yes.
what is this you message that you're talking about?
That's
You want me
yes.
that these people have anywhere to live, so they came to live there.
No.
I mean,
One
I
process
want to get
is
to
the process
the
at
genesis.
hand.
There's the process is 21 days eviction.
Does
If you
it?
are given eviction in 21 days,
Yes.
you expect the president to write that eviction? No. And the president
Okay.
is not in
Yes.
the country.
Okay, let me
So
answer you.
basically,
Yes.
Let me
we are
answer.
saying
Yes.
there are people who messed up the process after the courts made that decision.
Yes.
And that is subject to
bro.
now the intervention of the president
Brother.
once
Yes.
he's back in the country.
Brother.
Does it?
Basically.
Just hold on.
Yes.
But I
Brother,
want to just
just-
take that. Bagalo, you want to submit?
Brother, I want to help you on this. And allow me to
Rono-
tell you
Rono Ragalo
that,
wants to help
No, I know.
Ruto
What he's going to say.
will not run out of this.
Does it?
Let me tell you, when I hold this cup that I have won 100 meters, my name changes. I become the world champion. Okay? We may not agree on how we won, but you're the world champion. I, Eric Ragalo, does not agree. And that's why I keep saying,
Yes.
he is the president of Kenya, but not Eric's president.
No, that's where the
You understand?
That's where there's a
so
problem.
he's the president of Kenya, but not Eric's
Who is
president.
Kenya?
So now,
But who is Kenya?
You see, just listen. I am Kenyan, but before I am Kenyan, I'm Luo. You should understand that. I'm Luo first before I'm Kenyan. Because I can end up being a Ugandan and I become a Luo, but Ugandan. I can leave here and go to Congo and take citizen in Congo and I become Luo, Congolese. You have to understand.
No, Ragalo.
So I'm just making it easy for you to eat this because you know my friend, he must someone in Ngumu. So anyway, sorry, that's a joke. Anyway, presidential announcements are taken as what? They're order papers. You understand?
But not decrees.
When the president says, sitaki kuona hawa watu wakifanya kazi in 24 hours, wao wametolewa kwa payroll ya Kenya. Are they in the payroll today? Then what he's trying to tell me, those people are still waiting for president to write a letter. Are you getting what he's trying to say? When the president says, watu watoke Mau, it's a presidential pronouncement, not announcement, pronouncement. They are orders. When the president said, we will handle this humanely, those are presidential pronouncements.
But they have limitations.
So, who are supposed to take care of the pronouncements? The people who work under the president. What do you call them? We call them the executives, not politicians, not the governor. Okay? So the executives, police, and any other person who works under the ministry, and those people who handle the government properties, like now the port line, they're under the presidency now.
Yes.
Because those are
state properties and you're the state president. Hii kizungu ni ngumu, bro. So now they should have, our presidential pronouncement was, of course we have an eviction letter now, but the president said these people can be evicted humanely, so let's handle them now and see how we can move them out, because it was a presidential pronouncement. So if the presidential pronouncement is not taken care of, who is the head of state? For that lady to say RUTO, he was talking to the head that he knows, of course we are wrong, of course we are being evicted, but this is not the humane way, you said. Presidential pronouncements are state pronouncements. So, yes, under the Maslow hierarchy of humans, because we say humans are humans, the lowest hierarchy is what? Social. Then the second, security. Okay? So now, social is the widest under here. The way we live, the way we handle each other, how, you know, that is social. Then, security and protection is the second. Before you reach the last one. But now the second is wide. Why did we finish the second? How do you manage things? You manage by AAPIE.
Yes.
Bro, na turudi shule. A, assessment. They have been told to be evicted. Now let's assess. If we evict them this way, how will it affect? You start assessment. Then you go to A. Then you plan. Then you implement. Then you evaluate. If you do what we call a good manager does AAPIE. You assess the situation. We've won the case. Now we want to handle these people. How do we move them out? These people, mtu amekelea nyumba 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, 6 million, 7 million. You don't just evict them like you're sweeping your house. Msaidie kupanga hii mawe vizuri. Aibebe atabebea kujenga mahali. You know, so when you do that, that is the humanly. But if that was humanly according to the RUTO's gospel, then that was so humanly.
Yes. No, 1 minute, Mungai, 1 minute, and then we step out and go for break. Yes.
Presidential pronouncements are orders.
Yes.
I want to ask you, where do you put the court pronouncements? Because the president, the other time, lifted the moratorium on logging, yes? But the same activists went to the court and said, no, there was no implementation plan, the matrix, the what, we didn't do an assessment.
Yes.
And the courts went back and said, we have to look at those issues.
Yes.
So it means the presidential pronouncement was not final. Okay? So you want to lie to us that when the president says you be removed from work, you can still go to the court and get a different pronouncement and be brought back to work.
Rona, I want you,
Number
so
two,
meaning
you remove them.
Yes, Rona, I want you to hold there. I want you to hold there because we're going to for a tiny break and then come back to this. Mungai, 45 seconds before we go break. Yes. Yes.
Because you know we cannot allow impunity to proceed. This is Daily Nation.
Yes.
This is what Daily Nation says.
According to court documents, the society had produced a fake title deed claiming that the land was transferred to Aimimalu Kenya Society on May 20, 1980. The society did not exist at the time, as records at the Registrar of Societies show that the society was registered on September 25, 2014.
We don't refuse. We are saying removal. We are not refusing.
No.
Remove them under AAPI.
My friend,
yes.
If I come to your house today and I declare that where you are living is my house, do you need assessment? Do you need a presidential pronouncement to remove me? What are we talking about here?
Hold on. But speak. Rona, we gotta go. We gotta go for this break. Guess what? We go for a tiny breather right here on the Body News. Once we come back, more issues, by the way. We're going to weigh in the fight that is going on between CS, Moses Kuria, and Mudavadi, and Raila Amolo Odinga has seemingly spoken about what 2027 might look like. Once we come back right here with Eric, and Rono.
Hi, and welcome to Tujenge Home. Your number one show when it comes to all things architecture, real estate, property development, interior design. You get it right here on Tujenge Home. When the food is ready.
You want to serve them?
Dinner is served. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go.
Tunafurahia kuwa hapa maeneo ya Iego Primary School na bila shaka leo watu wengi watapokea chakula. Leo kutakuwa na furaha katika nyumba nyingi. Vile vile pia tunafurahia kwa sababu kuna tangi, kumekuwa na shida ya maji hapa. Kutakuwa na kidogo tutakuwa tumetatua. Kama kawaida yote ni kwa hisani ya Tatua Tatu.
Tunashukuru sana Tatua Tatu. I am proud to be associated with Tatua Tatu. Nafurahia sana na tuendelee hivyo hivyo na Mungu atazidi kutuinua.
Kila wakati ambapo unacheza Tatua Tatu unafanikisha shughuli hii. Kwa hivyo usichoke, endelea kucheza, huenda ukashinda, lakini wakati ambapo pia unacheza kuna wengine wanashinda. Shukrani sana.
Are you looking for experts in waterproofing systems, concrete admixtures, flooring systems, refurbishment solutions, roofing, sealing and bonding, and building finishing systems? Look no more, as Simba Kiage got you covered. With over 113 years of experience, we offer our customers a comprehensive one-stop shop experience and the best technical support. Our products are available in all leading hardware stores and building merchants across the country. Call us today on 0711 140 232 or 0786 140 834. Or email us on sales@ke.sika.com. Simba Kiage, building trust.
Introducing the Kenya Trade Fair Fusion Sales Drive event in the heart of Nairobi at the Kenya National Archives. It's not just an event, it's sales generation with a remarkable return on investment. Get ready to let your booth do the talking as you study new market trends with lots of entertainment featuring traditional live bands, DJs and artists. For vendor registration, call 0724 715 334 or 0713 907 584 or 0723 861 173.
Welcome back. This is the Morning Drift. My name is Simba Kiage. Let's summarize that conversation like this. I've seen a lot of your contributions online on these topics that are going on. I'm just going to read a couple of them, then move into the next conversation that we have on the table here. This is submissions that we've seen here on what Kenyans think about the ongoing demolitions. This is Patricia saying it starts with land reform, but Kenya isn't ready to implement the Ndungu report that Ragalo was talking about this morning. I've got another submission that it only makes sense if those demolitions happen as we implement the famous Ndungu report. All grabbed land should be repossessed without piecemeal court orders. We continue with the last one. With a private detective who's saying, why can't they go for the land grabbers and the Ministry of Lands officials who were involved in the land submission processes? It is very go down. Good. Now, let's move into the next part of the conversation this morning. Raila Amolo Odinga has spoken. And he has spoken about one man, Kalonzo Musyoka. They say, The Daily Nation this morning, and I will tell you what the job was, isn't that Raila praise for Kalonzo raises eyebrows. That's what the Standard, called it this morning. The Daily Nation went directly into it. This is what they said. Raila endorses Kalonzo to face RUTO in a 2027 State House context. Look here, these are editors reading from the same script, isn't it? These are editors reading from the same script. I want to start with you, Rono, because you asked that we start with you on this. Which headline are you going with? Are you going with the Daily Nation headline that said Raila endorses Kalonzo?
Endorses is the word. Endorses is the word.
Ragalo doesn't seem to agree.
You see, thank you for bringing this up, because last week, when the president went to Homa Bay and CI, he said, I want us to look at history, okay? Because
history you people say you don't love history.
No, this one is very interesting because you know the history of other people, the history of our own, the real players are the ones we need that history from.
Yeah.
The president said that Raila Odinga amaamua atataka kunipatia huyo Kalonzo. Then when we talked about it here, he said, Ragalo said, we are waiting for the Raila Odinga to say it, that the Luo nation is going to support Kalonzo. And the president said something very interesting. The Luos themselves said, now. It is very interesting. This is an interesting time to live in. Okay. The only time that Raila endorsed someone and it really worked was in 2002, because it was a regime that had stayed for 23 years and a half.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
And
then
that
they went
was the
into
only
the
time. He's never endorsed again.
He never endorsed again,
Yes,
and it has been a game of doing
it
has been since the COD, since there was NASA, there was COD, there was first the Pentagon, then the COD, then the NASA Howard, right? Remember, through all this eve of political of general election, all the general election from 2007 to 2022, there were so many core principles, right? There were 5 core principles plus, including during the time of God, there was Isaac RUTO from the South Rift, thinking that he was going to deliver the South Rift, which really worked against him. They have been going to seminars to select a candidate. They normally go for trainings, even outside the country, to select a candidate. But they have never won an election. Raila Odinga has lost election not because of himself or because of Kalonzo or because of his candidature. It is because of the people, the con men who are working for him. So it does not matter what they do, who they endorse, or what they do before 2027.
Yes.
If it is still the same people who are running his campaign in the Orange House without agents even in Central Province,
that's it. Bruno, just before Bruno, just before I leave you, leave you going, I like the way you picked it very fast. That indeed this is Raila Odinga endorsing Kalonzo for presidency in 2027.
Yes.
But majority of people don't think so.
I also don't think so, because he has said it, but I do not believe him until I see his name or Kalonzo's name on the ballot. Because he has been talking about bullets, which never ends.
When you look at a Kalonzo presidency in 2027, does it have weight as a Raila Odinga presidency?
Kalonzo is a weak candidate compared to all the presidential candidates that we'll have. In fact, Wajakoya is likely to beat Kalonzo. I will tell you for free. Kalonzo is a weak president. Is a weak, candidate for the 27 election. Remember, in 2013, during the run-up to 2013 elections, William Ruto told these people, wewe Kalonzo ulikuwa vice president, Raila Odinga, you are the prime minister, namuko kwa serikali, but tutawanyorosha. And he actually did the same. In 2017, he told them, Wembe ni ule, you remember the Wembe ni ule clamor, right?
Yes.
He told them, if we beat you in 2013, you are not going to beat us in 2017. The same in 2022, the president told Uhuru Kenyatta, kuwa mungwana, niwachie huyu jamaa nitamtandika. Take his word seriously. He knows his competitors and he knows what he's working with. And remember, when there was a time he was in Machakos and he told Kalonzo, wewe wacha kukaa namna hii, umekaa ODM sana. Mimi nilikaa namna hii nikajipanga, nao mimi ni deputy president na najua mahali naenda. Now is Kalonzo has woken up. He wants to ride on the issues about this country on economy. Let me tell you, when this economy improves, in fact, Kalonzo is not going to go on campaign because there's no need of campaigning because you only have a president already.
Here's the thing.
I'm telling you the truth.
There's a question underlying there.
Yes.
Mungai, just before I cross over to Regalo, which headline are you going with? Are you going with the Standard or are you going with the Daily Nation headline? The Standard is not where he hasn't said it. Like, there's no point that Raila Amolo Odinga said, in 2027, I endorse one Kalonzo Musyoka for presidency. He only spoke good things about him. Say it. What are you going with? He only spoke good things about him. Yeah.
Let me tell you the truth. It's
yeah.
That Raila would endorse Kalonzo. You know, the last time Kalonzo tasted power was in 2007, 2008. And what happened is that Kalonzo jumped from the Pentagon and went ahead to join Mwai Kibaki then. Okay? Mount Kenya. Now, Raila paid him the favor by showing up one morning on the grand handshake so that they formed the handshake government. So at least they now have a draw. But let us look at the Kalonzo that Raila is saying he will endorse. Kalonzo, he started with Pentagon, they went to COD, then they went to NASA How. Okay? Now, how does the team pay him in the previous election? Imagine a man who has stood with Raila for all that time. They started saying, you know, now we want to move Kenya forward, and we are adopting a new system of selecting running mates. And which is the new system? We are going to subject the candidates to interviews. Haya. So what happens? Kalonzo issues a presser and says, interviews over my dead body. Hey, me, I was very happy. You know, for the first time you see a Kalonzo who has metal, a Kalonzo who has a thick skin, a Kalonzo who has a backbone. A week later, here is Kalonzo again in a press briefing. You know, for the sake of the nation, for the sake of this, I am going now to subject myself to the interview process. Now, who is interviewing Kalonzo?
Yes.
The dean from New York. This dean who comes once in a while, meddles in politics and disappears back to the US, including now. Yes. He's in the US. He comes, he's the guy seated in a panel, and he wants to interview Kalonzo. For heaven's sake, is that a man to interview Kalonzo? So of course, Kalonzo went for the interview. They interviewed him. He failed the interview. And they brought in, lo and behold, Mother Karua. Who had absolutely no track record with Baba, a man who had stood with Baba in 2 previous elections and lost. Yes. They subjected him to an interview. He failed the interview, and they brought in Mother Karua. Let me tell you.
I'm waiting the affiliate.
Let me tell you, Simba.
If he failed the interview,
the only way for Kalonzo to prove himself now is for Kalonzo to appear in the middle of the night in the State House shaking hands with RUTO. He stands a better chance than waiting for Raila Odinga.
I'm still on that part for you. Failed the interview. How did he fail?
He failed.
But the other guys who said they were qualified for this.
No. He wanted it. Imagine standing with Raila for all that time, for more than 10 years.
But guy, what question?
All of a sudden, the person interviewing you is the dean.
What question is this that Kalonzo could answer about supporting Raila Odinga?
You know, no one knows what the questions. I don't know whether they gave him marked boxes to check, or they issued what do they call this test? They ask you questions.
Now, multiple choices.
Multiple choices. I think he failed.
Is it a IQ test or what?
Now,
Regalo, yes, jump in.
Waste of time. And you know, don't be surprised. In the next coming general election, they will subject him to another interview. Mark my words, and he will fail.
On Monday,
Yes.
last week,
That's it.
I was seated on the same seat.
Right here, yes.
Maybe you even swapped seats, but it is the same position.
Yes.
And I said that RUTO, actually, one thing you've not realized, RUTO was given a rousy welcome. You know, when you're given a rousy welcome, you should be given a seat to sit and some water to drink. Where on earth do you find people, a red carpet on the, what do you call this, on the whatever, on those mbaos that are put there, and you find wageni wanasimama wakiongea, no seat. RUTO went to Ugenya. He talked for 5 minutes. No one else talked, except RUTO and Orengo. They were standing. They went to Bondo. They were standing. They went to Homa Bay. They were standing. But he comes to Mount Kenya.
Regalo. Sorry, Munga, you gotta look at Regalo.
So if someone is welcomed, why were they standing on stage? No. No, he goes to Mount Kenya for 5 days. Sagana, Muchele. He goes to Nyeri. They sit literally on the stage. They went to Ugenya.
Yeah.
Direct from the car to the stage, standing, no dancing, no wimbo, no nothing. Start rapping. Get out. You know mwenye amealikwa na mwenye amejialika.
He went to church, though?
He went to Bondo.
Yes.
They were even with Rigiji in Bondo now. He welcomed Ochanda. Ochanda was given a rousy welcome indeed. For 2 minutes, Ochanda could not belt even hi to people. Then from there, the only thing RUTO was doing was saying, and here we have Simba Kiage, hapa tuko na Elijah, hapa tuko na Eric. That's it. People were chanting, Orengo, Orengo, because they wanted to hear Orengo alone, na stoki manambo ingine. That is rouse welcome. Now this was a statement. He deliberately made a statement that Baba will not be there in 2020.
Does it?
27.
Does it?
Of course, he knows maybe Baba will die tomorrow. We don't know. I don't know. He's, you know, ni mtu ya kanisa. Labda washa agree huko.
Baba ni mtu ya kanisa?
He maybe Baba will die in 2027. So he knows from Baba it will be Kalonzo. You know my statement, you understand it the way you want, but I think my viewers understand what I'm saying. So I know, yeye ni mtu wa kanisa, washaambiana na Mungu wakati Raila ataondoka, so Kalonzo ndiye atasimama. How did he know that Kalonzo will be the presidential candidate, first of all?
How did
So this is it. It's called divide the minds and rule them. He wants an internal war within. So that people, because we've not been able to divide Luos. And I said here, Luo is one. Kisii is one. You can never divide Luo. So you don't come to Bondo where people were beaten and killed in their houses because of asking Unga Iteremuke. Then you come tell them, you want to rule, to be their president, and they vote. They will not.
Yes.
And I said it here on live TV. Luos will not vote RUTO. Doesn't matter whether we are Nilots. Nilot, put it out. Whether we came together from Egypt, that doesn't matter.
But Kalenjins voted.
We will not vote RUTO.
Yes.
We, if that time comes, and I said it, and we are supposed to vote Kalonzo and RUTO, as he said it, RUTO himself. I said, I and the Luos, let me now say Luos, we will vote Kalonzo Musyoka. And now let me put it even clearly. Let me even put it clearly. I will campaign. I will remove my money in his campaign Harambe.
Who's campaign?
Just listen my English. It is a story going, so you don't return me behind. I will give my cares. I will campaign if it will be Kalonzo versus Ruto. That is how much we will do. Kalonzo was with us in Kanu. Okay, we got him there. But we left together and formed Rainbow. Rainbow gave birth to ODM. Before it gave birth to ODM, we were in NAC together.
Yes.
Then we created ODM together. Then we found ourselves together in CORD. We've been together in NASA and together in Azimio. You understand? Ruto left us where? After making lies on Raila that we are removing people in Mau to kill the Kalenjin. So now we vote him. After punishing Raila because of taking away water tower that was finishing people, is he not doing that?
Yes.
So now we go back and support Ruto? After all the stories that is created wrongly and fake about Baba? I mean, I have to be I need to be taken to Mathare and done a scan on my head if I will vote Ruto.
When we book the appointment.
So the thing is done and dusted. If Kalonzo will be our presidential candidate, because Raila did not say we are giving Kalonzo, he said tutasimama na Kalonzo.
What does it mean?
Unaona? Tutasimama na Kalonzo.
What does it mean?
Listen to the whole clip, the praises he gave Kalonzo and why he said atasimama na Kalonzo. Listen to the whole clip. You know, you don't need to ask me. These are sides of UDA. They love history, but I'm teaching them history. So now, sisi tutasimama na Kalonzo. But the time comes ni Kalonzo anapewa ticket. Sasa ndio tutasimama tikiti vizuri.
Elijah.
One man. And Elijah, let me tell you, Luos don't lie.
Elijah.
Luos don't lie like them.
Elijah.
When Luos don't lie like them.
Yes.
Them, they are liars. Why are they liars? They use the lies to get the Kikuyu votes and Mount Kenya votes.
But that's a lie.
They use the lies. If they are not lies, let me finish
That's a lie.
If they are not lies, why is macadamia 15 shillings per kg?
Those are international
At
forces.
Kibaki, at Uhuru's time, macadamia 180.
Yes.
When Uhuru left and international went down to 15 shillings per kg, how do we plummet like that? If it is lies, why is kahawa 47 shillings per?
No,
Per bonus.
has
I'm
approved 4
asking
billion.
you.
It is 4 billion. That
No,
is
no,
4
just
billion.
listen to
Yes.
me.
4
You
billion.
won't get the 4 billion.
Yes.
If you want to know their lies, we will be removing you humanely. Is that how people are removed humanely? Is that how people are removed humanely?
Let me respond.
We're back there again.
And these are the same lies
Yes.
they're feeding.
Yes.
No,
That's a-
no,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yes.
It is true. Portland, those people, they don't have the ownership there.
That's it.
You need to remove them.
Yes.
And they should be removed humanely. The same Ruto and company, which is really the Ruto Bomet, said the Mau people should be removed humanely. The government ile iko sahihi ya Kibaki na Raila inatoa watu inhumanly. You remember?
Doesn't.
So that time, those who are being removed inhumanly, they punished Raila. But now this one, who is removing them inhumanly? It is Raila. And the word, I'm saying, you promise people you'll remove them
That's it.
pole,
That's it.
wakimake wrong. But now, you unabomolea nyumba ya milioni 10. Is
Yes.
that humanly?
Bono,
So right now, Rono, what I'm telling you,
let me respond
stop
to him.
lying
No,
to
let me
Kenya.
respond to him.
Yes.
Kenya now.
First, the
That's it.
reason
Bono,
why...
Bono, I want to take this. I want to take this direction.
Yes.
Because there's a question that I'm going to come back with and ask Ragalo, whether indeed the Luo Nyanza side has been left floating for a while, because there's that feeling as well. Good. Do you think that a Kalonzo presidency or a Kalonzo ticket is enough to challenge
Now,
a Ruto ticket?
Good. That's a good question. And as I said, as we speak,
Yes.
and the decisions that Kalonzo has been able to make for the last, I think, a period of 20 years,
Yes.
since I was born, and I got I grew up and I knew who Kalonzo is to
you're
date.
just 20.
No, not 20. No, I'm not 20. I mean for the last, I mean 20 years where I could make political sense of Kalonzo.
Yes.
He is unable to run the presidency. First of all, because one, he does not have no, it's not about the money. And that's part of it, because you cannot run a campaign without money. Who is going to give him money? How?
Do you think I don't? No, you have money, Bona.
No, you don't have money. I mean, now he's not been able to make personal decisions, and he's not been able to stand firm by his decisions. Right? He's somebody who's swayed on off. Number two, it's the issue about party. All right? The party that is running in 2027 is ODM. So unless Kalonzo has to do away with Wiper and come to ODM, because what I know is for you to get an ODM ticket, it's a problem. As long as Raila is still there, that is a problem. Technically that's a problem. So and they want us to make Ragal wants us to make to believe that whatever he's saying is what other Luo leaders are saying. Yes. I mean, you want to tell me, out of those learned Luos, all of them, the professors, like doctors like him, there is no other person who's more qualified than Kalonzo to be a president in this country, which is a lie. I mean, it is time the leaders of Luo Nation can wake up.
Which is what I'm going to ask you.
Yes.
I mean, if you're going to say that Kalonzo is not essentially metal enough then to actually run in 2027, who do you think can run enough?
I have no candidate from the Luo Nation or from the Luo Nation as well. But I mean, there are people in the Luo Nation who can be able to take the mantle. When we talk about somebody who has stood with Raila for a very long time, even the governor for Siaya, James Orengo, he has stood with Raila for the longest time. He is a capable person to become a president. Why do we curtail his ambitions just to become a governor? And he is one of the most celebrated lawyers in this country who can become a president. What is so difficult? So the transit of the Luo Nation to vote a candidate of Wiper and a candidate of Kalonzo, I don't think it will work. Because before we see that candidate, that is the first. Because as my friend said, they will go for interviews. They will still go for seminars. They will do everything. But I am not surprised when Raila will say, I am still on the ballot.
When you look at the scenario in 2002, I mean, Raila Amolo Odinga essentially fronted a political candidate who was overwhelmingly supported across the country. Is that not the same scenario that's going to happen?
It is not the same, because that government has been in place for 23.5 years. I can tell you for free. It had been in place for the longest period in this country. Now, when Raila realized that Moi was not going to endorse him, all right, including the likes of the late Joy Saitoti, may his soul rest in eternal peace, he was a very qualified candidate to become the president in this country. In fact, he had been a vice president, right? But when he realized this thing has a problem, he decided that they were going to take now that leadership to Mount Kenya, which he did not materialize. Maybe he wanted. In fact, let me tell you the worst thing that ever happened to Raila Odinga. He supported a government. He supported Emilio Mwai Kibaki, His Excellency. May his soul rest in eternal peace. But again, within 3 years, he was the one mwenye alikuwa anakoroga hiyo serikali. He was the one causing chaos. The Nusumkeka, the what? I mean, he wanted to now take the presidency away from Mwai Kibaki, which became difficult. And in fact, in 2007, I am taking you back to 2007, where the Kalenjin community voted for Raila Odinga overwhelmingly, despite Raila Odinga supporting our candidate was Uhuru Kenyatta in 2002 because Moi said so. But despite him supporting Emilio Mwai Kibaki, we voted for him in 2000. But what did he do? He turned into a witness. I mean, there's no difference between him being a witness and providing information.
Let's go to Hague.
Let's go to Hague. But when the things got tough, he wants now to come and tell us, now you see, we want to take this Kalonzo to president. It is very difficult.
Who said let's go to Hague? You know, this thing is hurting me, they are lying. You know, lying on camera. Going to Hague, Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto said, we cannot have a court formed in Kenya, and this court is going to be pushed, pulled, and commissioned by Raila, we want to go to Hague. They requested Hague. We wanted to have
Raila
a Kenyan case.
Raila
So
was an
stop being
equivalent.
liars, my
Raila-
friend.
Raila
By
was
the
an
way.
So when
equivalent
Hague
for
came,
witness.
Yes.
when Hague came,
Yes.
you know, we have to be honest.
As a-
People are watching us, our kids, some of them in 207, now they're adults.
Yes.
When Hague came, and this guy is 20 years. He's saying
No, no, he's not. He's not.
He said. So
Now you see the lie. You see the lie. You see the lie.
no,
You see the lie. Now you get where the lie is coming from.
When the Hague came,
That's it.
when the Hague came,
Yes.
they now turned it that
Yes.
Raila is taking us to Hague.
Which was-
I remember it was supposed to be a local,
That's it.
international court, like Rwanda
Yes.
and South
That's all.
Africa.
That's all.
You took yourself to Hague. Stop lying. Stop lying.
I want us to advance these conversations we're having this morning, and I'll be coming back to you because we still have time on it. Mr. Mungai, we are looking at the presidency of Kalonzo Musyoka in 2027. If indeed, like the Daily Nation is saying, that Raila Amolo Odinga said, well, it is Kalonzo 2027. I want to ask you a question. You and I, you've spoken here, and you've said, well, no one would like to think that they delivered the central Kenya vote. And we know how much that is instrumental in making somebody a president in the country. If by so saying then that it's Kalonzo Musyoka in 2027, and they get it right in the central part of Kenya, doesn't it then look like, indeed, this time around, that Kalonzo Musyoka might be a worthy competitor of the RUTO presidency in 2027?
As I said, you know, the challenge is not that Kalonzo is a bad candidate. The thing is, you know, Kalonzo and Mudavadi share the same temperament.
Yes.
They are non-starters.
And Mr. Mugai, I'm sorry to cut you short.
Yes.
What makes you think that Kalonzo Musyoka won't enjoy the same support as Raila Amolo Odinga enjoys if indeed is endorsed by Raila Amolo Odinga?
First, because Raila Odinga will not endorse Kalonzo. Forget it. I mean, let's forget. You know, there is precious airtime that we are consuming, and it is important that we do not waste it for the viewer who is watching us by imagining that Raila can endorse Kalonzo. And I'll tell you why. You have rightly said here that the only time Raila has ever endorsed someone was in 2002 when he endorsed Mwai Kibaki. But there is a context to that. And what is the context? That morning, Raila Odinga were in discussions in Intercontinental Hotel with the late Simeon Nyachae, discussing how Raila would support Simeon Nyachae to become the president. The same morning, when Raila watched the TV and he saw the multitude that was in Uhuru Park, you know Intercon, you can cross all the way to Uhuru Park.
Yeah.
He crossed all the way to Uhuru Park and said, Kibaki tosha. Simeon Nyachae in his book says that he was shocked himself. The man he was discussing with to endorse him to become president was on his TV screen in Uhuru Park endorsing Mwai Kibaki. He did not do it out of volition.
Yes.
No, wait,
Yeah.
he did not do it out of volition. The records are available. He did it because he saw that this was a movement, it was unstoppable, and so he became an opportunist. That is why I'm saying we have precious airtime here that we need to discuss with Kenyans, and let us not waste it discussing that Raila Odinga will endorse Kalonzo Musyoka for presidency. Be that as it may, I have said there is a challenge in Kalonzo becoming president because him and Madividi share the same temperament. And that is a temperament of waiting for everyone else to do their thing and then bring it to you. Let me ask you, Simba, if President William Ruto had sat down and imagined the presidency coming to him, and imagined that President Uhuru Kenyatta would take him to the mountain, would endorse him to become the next president, would William Ruto be president today?
No, definitely not.
Absolutely not. And therefore, it is to tell you...
Had Musalia Mudavadi then been endorsed by one William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta, if you do remember during that famous period when...
The Madimoni phase.
Was Mudavadi not essentially going to be president?
He was not, and I'll tell you why. You see, and it's the submission I am making.
Yes.
For you to be president, you must be made of a certain caliber. And Kalonzo Musyoka and Mudavadi must develop the stature and the wherewithal to become president.
Yes.
You see, look at someone like Raila. Raila is a chuma ya zamani. The man is hardened. The only thing the man now hasn't learned is how to take the thing. You see, this thing in 2007, he came close to taking it. And that was the best time for...
He actually took it.
I doubt. But let us say in 2007, he actually came close to taking this thing. Because the realization of politics is that no one brings this thing to you. You take it. Now, the challenge with Kalonzo, he's a good diplomat. He hopes, he prays, he believes that people will sit down and they will say, guy, you know this thing is yet to go to Kalonzo. Let us give this thing to Kalonzo. No one will give it.
Lastly, before I cross over to Ragalo then, what is making you think that now that it's Kalonzo Musyoka's time, that this country would essentially move away from the patterns that they have voted in historically?
Do you know, Simba, can I tell you, do you know today who would be deputy president? Do you know? It is Kalonzo Musyoka would be deputy president. But how did he mess it up?
When they went
he went for an interview, which he failed. Today, how many, you know, sometimes I think we joke too much. How many votes did Mother Karua deliver to Raila's presidency?
In her own polling station.
Even in her own backyard. Today, if Kalonzo Musyoka was the running mate to Raila Odinga, I tell you, we would be having Kalonzo Musyoka as the deputy president on his way to becoming a president. But what did our guy do?
He went for an interview.
Same thing as he always does, flip-flopping. He was invited for an interview with Serena.
Yes.
He went there to take tea and biscuits. They asked him questions and he failed.
But just hold on.
Today, where is he?
Does it
waiting for an endorsement to become president
instead of looking for
the man who subjected him to an interview.
But out of all the cycles that one Kalonzo Musyoka has gone through, Mr. Mungai, doesn't it present himself as a man who's ready then to actually say no if he's not picked?
Has he ever won an election?
Let
me just ask.
Yes, he was an MP for Sekuru.
Apart from being an MP?
No, not Sekuru. Sekuru is not a constituency.
No, is it his home? He was an MP for...
Which? Kitui what?
Kitui something. He was an MP. So he has won an election. But the thing
is... now from there,
you know, Kambas are loyal people. Kambas are faithful people. They will vote Kalonzo to a man. But just imagine the Kamba nation, the man whom they had vested their hopes in, the man who carried their dreams to become a deputy president.
Yes.
That man woke up
lost an election.
Woke up one morning
lost an interview.
and went to be subjected to an interview by Professor Makau.
You know what I've done? You know what I've done? I have failed to point Mungai in the right direction in this conversation. Could you help me, please? Get Mungai in the right direction. Because every time I think about Kalonzo Musyoka, it becomes history about a man who has failed to present himself as a presidential candidate.
No, Ragalo needs some water.
I asked Ragalo this question. This is the question that I asked Mr. Mungai. Take history on the side. Let's go with the Daily Nation and say that, well, Raila Amolo Odinga, for the very first time, says Kalonzo Tosha, 2027. Ragalo, Mungai himself is cognizant of the fact that, indeed, when it comes to the incentive of the central vote this time around, that neither Rigathi Gachagua, neither of the so-called Central Kenya kingpins delivered that election. That indeed this time around, you can't say that somebody from within that government delivered that election to RUTO. Good. What would change in 2027? What would make a Kalonzo Musyoka presidential ticket a threat to a RUTO ticket in 2027, Ragala? Or do you still want to vote?
No. Vote for who? For RUTO? What? Hey, maybe in the next world, which I don't know which that will be.
Because if you're going to share the sentiments of
no.
and Mungai, then
let me tell you,
rather not vote.
We already know RUTO.
Yeah.
We already know Kalonzo.
Yeah.
Kalonzo has been a deputy, has been an MP longest for a long time. He's been a minister and all those. We know RUTO. Okay? Now let's put people here with the leadership credentials. One, is Kalonzo dependable by people? Can people depend on him?
No.
Please, let me finish. You're not going to answer me.
Oh, you don't want an answer.
Okay.
Okay.
Can Kalonzo be depended by people? Yes.
That's a joke.
Because he's not a liar. You can depend on someone you can trust. that when he says this shoe is black,
Yes.
trust me, you'll find it black. By him being even a deputy.
Yes.
And many other positions he's held. Is a Kalonzo a sociable person? Very. You know characteristics of antisocial people. Antisocial does not mean people who are doing wrong things, but antisocial people are people when they come near you, you either feel negative energy or positive energy. Is Kalonzo somebody with integrity? Yes. We know what it means by integrity, Kenyans.
What happens to the land in
NYS?
Don't ask for land, because we'll also ask lands. My friend, don't go there. I'm just finishing as it is. When you ask land, we'll ask many, many land. Now, if you want us to go that route, let me go. Is Kalonzo antisocial? No. Don't go that route. We will not tear gas children, my friend. Let me not go that route. If you want me to go that route, I will come.
Yes. Yes.
If you want me to go that route,
Do not go that road.
Hey,
Just
when you tear gas a kid of 1 year,
Ragalo, just make the case of why
Yes.
that president, that president will be strong.
does Kalonzo have emotional intelligence? Yes. He can handle tough times and be calm.
That's it.
We know other guys how they handle emotional intelligence. You know, does Kalonzo communicate well? You can take his word from his mouth. Our friends in Portland were given word by mouth. They have seen fire.
Really?
You can take word by his mouth. He came back and told people, I said I will not go for interview, but I've decided. He can come back to you. He can communicate what he said and bring it back to you and communicate. I want us to communicate now and tell those people, why did we bring their houses down? You can take their word. Is Kalonzo creative? Yes. They have created organizations. Kalonzo is creative by making peace in Sudan, being a peacekeeper. You need a creative mind to make a peacekeeper.
No, you're right. He's a peacemaker. Yeah.
He's a peacemaker.
And you need a creative mind to bring antagonist people together. You understand? As a peacekeeper. Did Kalonzo try to shuttle diplomacy to bring these people home? He did a shuttle diplomacy for Ruto and Uhuru when they were taken to ICC. You need a creative mind to do such things. So, look at the integrity of my other friend. Where is macadamia? We were told farming will be Israel does not even farm like that. I don't know which country produces so much coffee. Yes. Ethiopia. Farming of coffee will be like Ethiopia. What has happened? The promises that were made to Mount Kenya, where are they? Mount Kenya people are asking, you promised, what is happening? Why aren't you bringing them? We were promised cheaper life. Where are we? Can you take a word for that? Communication. We were promised cheaper flour, cheaper what, where are they? We were promised 500 shillings, gas ya kupikia mama mboga. Juzi gas ya 500 iliongezwa, sasa inatoka 1400.
Yes.
No, it's not Raila Odinga. Listen,
Yes.
His question is what I'm answering.
Yes.
His question is what I'm answering. Can you take a word from Ruto? Can you? And I want people in Mount Kenya 2027, vote Ruto again. When you think we guys, we care, vote him again.
The question
I'm telling them because they don't, even them, they don't hear. And I'm addressing people in Mount Kenya. Listen to me.
Yes.
They refuse to hear from their leader and their king, Uhuru Kenyatta, who told them, guys, you will suffer. They refuse. So 2027, Eric Ragalo is telling them, vote again.
Ragalo. Yes.
Ask when Baba tells us Kibaki tosha, we will come. When Baba tells us Kalonzo, we will go. Sisi hatunanga hii kazi ya kugombana na leaders wetu. Sisi tuna follow leaders.
That's it. So let me just make a clear.
This dependable Kalonzo, asking who called him watermelon.
Just hold on.
No, asking who nicknamed him.
Okay, let me finish. Let me finish.
Yes.
Accountability of Kalonzo. Can you account? Can you account for Kalonzo's wealth? Can you account? When they said Yatta Farm, Kalonzo went with the documents himself to DCI to give everything to DCI. You understand? Can you account for him? Decision making, self-awareness. Let me tell you, there are attributes you attribute to the leader. If you want to attribute a leader like Kalonzo, I will attribute. Let him attribute.
In fact, now let me do that. Because he actually has, he has the same qualities. Let me tell you. The funny thing is, he has this, all those. It's not only Kalonzo.
Yes.
He has them, but he can't be president. Why? There are so many Kenyans who has those attributes. It is true, but they can't.
Fine, Bono.
Yes.
I get where you're coming from.
Yes.
Bagalo, please take a minute.
Having the knowledge and doing it is the difference.
Okay. I can't go back to Mungai if you do not answer this question.
Okay.
Going by how the country voted in 2022 for one Dr. President William Ruto and how the country voted for one Raila Amolo Odinga, the difference of 200,000 votes. What does Kalonzo Musyoka need to do to surpass that mark, or at best retain it? That's the only thing I'm asking.
Very easy.
Yeah.
And that's the answer I already gave you.
Yes.
If Mount Kenya people still want to go on with indecisiveness, lack of communication, integrity issues,
now you are speaking on
creativity problem,
I mean, he's speaking on behalf of Mount Kenya. We are talking about the
accountability issues.
Because I will tell you for free.
Let's
leave that because
I've already told you. I already said the answer. If Mount Kenya wants to continue with all these attributes that are wrong on the other side, vote.
But then, Ragalo, the way you're speaking like a man who's threatened already.
No, I'm not frightened. I'm telling Mount Kenya because we are in where we are. We are where we are because of Mount Kenya. They refuse to listen to their leader. So I am still telling them, if you want to continue with miscommunication, emotional challenges, indecisiveness, integrity, vote that side.
Now, let me tell you, Elijah, what is painful for him is that the debt that they thought they were owed by the Mount Kenya people since 2002, they thought it exists. Let me tell you, the people in Mount Kenya owes nobody a debt. Let me tell you today, they owes no one a debt. They are liberals.
Nobody
they can
said
vote
that.
whoever they want. And number two, Raila, as you talk about endorsement, let me tell you, as you talk about endorsement, you saw what happened in Turkana. Turkana is Raila Odinga's staff. But he went there and he could not speak this time around. And in fact, the governor told him off that there's nobody who's coming to threaten me here. I am working with the government in place. That is the governor for Turkana.
That's it.
Turkana, where Nanok came from, where Nanok was actually a supporter of Raila Odinga, is now in State House. I mean, you want to tell me, now in Rift Valley, let me tell you, in Rift Valley, Raila used to get votes. Up to the 2022 election, Raila got votes in Rift Valley. But Kalonzo is not going to take anything. I mean, Raila is not going. Kalonzo is not going to get even a vote in Turkana. Who is going to vote for Kalonzo in Turkana? I mean,
for the sake of the conversation, gentlemen, there's something
Rift Valley?
Maybe Mungai, you can help me in this conversation because I want us to jump
Narok is Rift Valley. Rongai here is Rift Valley.
Let's make a case.
Trans Nzoia is Rift Valley. Which Rift Valley are you talking about?
Cherangany is Rift Valley.
Which one?
Mungai, let's make a case.
Which one? Say Kalenjin Nation.
Yes, and he got votes from Kalenjin Nation. And remember, that is what Kalonzo is not going to get.
Let's make a case.
Yes.
Don't talk Rift Valley.
Let's make a case. Let's make a case.
Kalenjin Nation.
Let's make a case. Mungai, let's make a case. Mungai, please help the conversation. Gentlemen, I'm asking a very easy question. Please give me an answer. Mungai, if you're cognizant of the fact that you can't essentially give the 2022 vote to a kingpin in the central part of Kenya, to any one man in Ruto's side right now, you can't say that Rigathi Gachagua essentially made Ruto win in the central part of Kenya. You can't say that the likes of Moses Kuria essentially did that. All right? And as it looks, the incentive is still open that that particular region is going to be a sway vote in a 2027. So be it may, even did Kalonzo Musyoka enjoys the support that Raila Amolo Odinga got in the 2022 poll, or historically in the country as it has been, what would make a Kalonzo Musyoka presidency a threat to a Ruto presidency? Mungai, is there a factor that you might look in and then say, well, now that will be something?
You know, I'm really struggling to help Kalonzo in terms of your question.
Yes.
But this is what I would say. First,
Yes.
Kalonzo must prove to the world and to Kenyans that one, he is ready to take the presidency. We must not only see it. Wait, because you see, it starts with the man. Don't worry about the community.
Yes.
It starts with the man himself, because we have to put our trust. You see, I am from Mount Kenya. And when I'm from Mount Kenya, I have to make a decision, okay? Assuming Kalonzo is on the ballot.
Yes.
I have to make a decision.
Yes.
I will vote for Kalonzo,
Yes.
Or RUTO.
or I will vote for RUTO.
That's it.
It's a decision I have to make from Mount Kenya.
That's it.
The question is this: why would I vote for Kalonzo
Yes.
and not for William Ruto? You see, that's the question I would essentially have to ask myself.
Yes.
But for me to answer that, Kalonzo himself must first convince me.
He has to go to church and buy pastors.
Yes.
Let me be honest. He has to go to church, carry Biblia all the time,
I want to
lie to them,
you see,
carry
you
talk to
see,
the pastors.
you
You
see,
know, that is a
Ragalo-
script that was
see,
done.
What
Yes.
Ragalo is doing,
Clear the set.
he's imputing on the community
Yes.
that we lack the wherewithal to choose wisely the leaders that we want.
But
In
you are
fact,
told that one comes
what
from
he's
God.
postulating
Yes.
is that we are so gullible. When we see a Bible-wielding politician,
Yes, it is
we are
true.
likely to vote for them.
Yes,
you see,
it is
it's
true.
that level of gullibility.
Yes.
It is sorry,
That
not
made you
gullibility.
vote Ruto. It's true.
It is that level of self-deception
That's what made you vote
that,
Ruto.
that has made Ragalo stand on the sidelines of opposition, cheering the guys in government. Because Mount Kenya, in fact, the only time we had a split vote in Mount Kenya was when we had Stanley Jindo and Kibaki going, you remember that tussle between the two. That's the only time for every other time consistently, we have cast our votes on one debe.
Emotions.
Including even this time,
Yes.
when the president decided that he wanted to vote to support Raila, which is okay and which is his political right to do that, okay? But what I want to say is this. For Kalonzo, to answer your question, to convince the Mount Kenya vote to go towards him, he must first come out as an independent man who is capable, because remember, it's about interest. As a community, we have interest. You ask yourself one question. When we had Rigathi Gachagua vis-a-vis Professor Kithure Kindiki, okay?
Yes.
Why did the community opt to go towards Gachagua as opposed to Kindiki? And yet Kindiki is a professor. Just like we have a scholar in Kalonzo. It's because at the end of the day, the Mount Kenya bloc must feel sufficiently protected that in a Kalonzo presidency, our interests are going to be catered for. Wait.
Yes.
But this is a man.
Yes.
This is a man, and I asked Ragalo, how did Kalonzo earn the name Watermelon, and who nicknamed him that? He did not answer me. Do you know the person who called Kalonzo Watermelon?
I don't remember.
It is Raila Odinga.
Yes.
It is Raila Odinga who called Kalonzo Watermelon. Why? Because he's a flip-flopper. One day he says this, the next day he says the other.
Yes.
And
Yes.
remember,
Yes.
in Serena, Kalonzo was very categorical with the Kamba leaders. In fact, and this is my point.
You've used that statement.
No, wait. You see, ukweli unatosha, kwa sababu, you know, the challenge with the truth is that there's no replacement for the truth.
Okay.
You see, that's the challenge.
Okay, use it.
That's the challenge with the truth.
Use
You have
it.
to keep using it because there are no alternative facts.
Use it.
But the thing is this. For Kalonzo Musyoka to become president, will take more than wishful thinking. The man must fold his sleeves, and the man must do what other men are doing. He must not wait on the sidelines. Ati leo Raila akisema woi, unajua nitawachia Kalonzo. Then Kalonzo that week, he's a very happy man. Next week, Raila will make another, he will send Wandai to say, you know, in 2027,
we are yet to decide.
We are yet to decide, and Raila will be on the ballot. Then what happens to Kalonzo and his team?
Okay.
So for Kalonzo to be president, he must stand firm and say he wants to be. We must see that he actually wants to be president.
Elijah, let me answer your question.
Take a minute.
Yes, just a minute. Just a minute. It is very difficult.
You know, this is two in one. Now if you give
it's very difficult.
Hold on. I'm going to give you 3 minutes.
Kalonzo's presidency
Yes.
depends on packaging. There are two types of packaging.
Now you see, this is the kind of conversation that you have gotten to gentlemen a long time
Yes.
ago. Now you're answering
There are
that
two
question,
types
bro.
of packaging.
Yes.
One, Kalonzo has to package himself.
Yes.
All right? Packaging yourself for presidency. One, you must traverse the campaign. His campaign must have started as early as now, single-handedly traversing the country to earn the trust that Kalonzo wants to be president. It is like when you go to my village and tell people, I want to marry a certain girl. Myself, Brian or Rono wants to marry a certain girl. Before I myself say, I want to marry that girl. You get? So, packaging himself is sending himself out, kujituma kwanza. Packaging himself involves sending himself out for vote hunting, number one. Number two, amassing resources as early as now, because he has said we buy pastors, so he must be ready to buy back the pastors, which he is, Ragalo is saying, which actually dispute. I really abhor that statement, because you cannot buy a man of God. Now, number two, in packaging himself, how many friends or coalitions or friends from different coalitions is he able to pull together?
Yes.
Is he able to pull Mudavadi from this government? Is he able to pull Professor Kindiki to become his deputy? That is the question. Is he able to poach the very critical infrastructure and people from the government in place? Because that's what William Ruto did. Yeah. William Ruto poached from ODM, from NASA. I'm yet to finish. Yes. He poached themselves. 1 minute. I'm having 1 minute. I'm having 1 minute because I'm giving you sense. Yes, I'm finishing. As he first poached strategic infrastructure and strategic people from government and from all across to package himself. The last one, in terms of packaging, has he packaged the country in terms of his vote basket? Where is his vote basket? He has said the Luo Nyanza. Fine, Luo Nyanza, Ukambani. Where is the other vote basket that he has hunted to package it?
Yes, Ronald, thank
That's
you
the question.
Bagalo, we have 3 minutes. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. Yeah?
And we will not even interrupt.
As a thing, please, gentlemen, do not interrupt.
Please
Bagalo,
make Kalonzo
take over
the president now.
But first, I want you to answer this.
But he should not talk about virtues.
Because essentially that's what one is raising. Where is Kalonzo Musyoka's vote basket? Where is it?
What an easy question. When did Kalonzo run for presidency? When Raila ran for presidency the first time in 1997, how many votes did he get? Paltry, very paltry, 500,000, 1997. When Kalonzo ran for presidency for the first time in 2007, he got 900,000.
Yes.
900,000 in 2007.
Yes.
How many years are those? When Raila ran for presidency later, he's getting 6 million.
Yes.
I don't want to count the other number, but I'm giving you a whole number, 6 million. But initially he got 500,000. So who tells you Kalonzo cannot beat Ruto? What Kalonzo should not do is carry a Bible in the name of the Lord and lie to Kenyans. The Bible carriers stopped carrying Bible today. Do you see the Bible being carried today in churches? No. Because in the name of the Lord, I got what I wanted. Now I don't need the Bible again. Where are the pastors that were running all over around, jumping and even trembling? Where are they? You know, deception is wrong. And that's why I give you the Kalonzo person that I know. One, before you traverse the country, know your person. Uhuru know his person. And he told his people, please, this is not the route. But later he told them, Nehanyu, Mukarira. He said, okay, Kalonzo, we know Kalonzo is a born-again person. But even when he was a deputy president, he never misused the Bible. He never quoted verses that are not in the Bible. Verses were quoted that were not even existing in the Bible.
An example?
Verses were quoted. We know them. We will talk about the verses that were not even non-existent in the Bible. So, deception is wrong. So, Kalonzo to win people, the first constituency he have is his family, his house, his wife, and his children. That is the first people you show. That this is my family. Obama came with his family. Kibaki came with his family. You see? From there, your family, you ask the family of Kenya that this family of mine want to help you. People gauge you with your family, want to help you.
Yes.
Then, look at my background. I am a family man. This is my house. And these are my children. Now we know. From there, do you have any other houses? Do you have other children? We don't know. So we continue. We look for votes. So you go to the other bigger family, your community family. You present yourself to your community. What way to? I come as your person. Help me to venture to other people. Call your friends from other sides. You understand? From your people, now they will help you move. Then now, from there, you create friends. Now friends will pull friends. I don't want to go that you have to pull community leaders. They will come because you present yourself as a whole package of a family, with your family as a community.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other families will come in. The Luo family now. The Kamba family. The Taita family. The other family. And this is what I'm saying. Was Kalonzo capable of running last time? Yes. He had a Maasai to bring a certain family. Is that not possible? Why not? The thing is, and I want to tell Kenyans, Kenyans decide, do you want to continue with deception? Do you want to continue with lies? Do you want to continue being told left and someone means right? Do you want to be told today is dark and it is day? Kenyans, you've already seen 1 year and yet to go 4. By the fourth year, you will decide very well. But I'm telling you now, what you were told is coming out truly. And that's why I said, Mount Kenya was lied through the church. We have to be honest. You know, people must say honesty through the church.
Yes.
Churches were used, pastors were used to lie to their people. They were told the other guy praise Satan, but ours praise the living God.
How true was that statement?
I live in Mount Kenya, my friend. I don't live in Baringo.
I mean the statement itself.
I live in Mount Kenya.
Could it be true?
I don't live in Baringo.
Yes.
I'm talking out of knowledge.
Yes.
And
yes,
it went so high that people were already, and as it is said, religion is an opium. People smoked the opium of religion. And they believed God gave us. And that is why, when voting was voted, people said, Mungu ametusaidia. Mungu. Now let me ask you. The same Bible, I'll request a question. When God blesses you with a leader, he blesses the land. The land will yield fruit. And
rain.
you'll have in plenty.
Yes.
With rain.
You understand?
Yes.
No, I didn't talk of rain. You go with your rain. The land will yield fruit and you will have in plenty. In Corinthians. But I don't quote the Bible because I don't know. Me, I'll not quote a verse that is not correct.
Yes.
Because others are known to quote. Now, when the Bible still says, when you have settled yourself leaders by yourself, what does the Bible say? The land becomes barren. And it becomes tough to you until you look back to the Lord for guidance. It is the Bible which was used to vilify others. Now I'm telling you,
yes,
it is time now.
Yes.
You realize, do you want to follow deception forever? Where is that Bible? Where is that church every Sunday? Where is that Bible being quoted every Sunday? What happened?
in a minute.
Is God using Raila to punish?
No. God is using.
Yes.
40 seconds.
40 seconds, yes.
When Israelites, I'm answering it. When Israelites gave themselves Saul,
Yes.
God did not use David to
Yes.
punish Israelites.
That's it.
Actually, Saul
Yes.
himself
That's it.
punished Israelites.
Let's end it there. Please do not add anything. 10 seconds. Musalia Mudavadi, see us, Korea.
I think that's creating a mountain out of an anthill.
Does
It's a red herring.
Does it? Pretty much. Ronald, 10 seconds.
Every
Moses Korea,
every
Mudavadi.
team needs a new team.
Yes.
They're still working together. They're still learning. So
Yes.
those are teething problems.
Does it?
10 seconds.
Yes.
Give Moses Kuria his office. He left the other office. Why are you not giving him his office? Why do you want to occupy a whole room? Can I come and occupy this studio? But Moses Kuria ile yake na Moses. Sisi ni watu wa kuongea ukweli. Moses apewe kitu yake.
Guys, guess what? Take this gentleman back to the time that he joined us this morning at around 7:30. Online at Lookuptv, across all your social media platforms. My name is Simba Kiage. Guess what? Tomorrow is another good time for us to do this all over again. Goodbye.